Hello, this is Greg Puffman here with We Just Quit Our Jobs. Welcome to the show today. Ted Zepp is not available to join me today. We got into a little bit of a spat. Ted doesn't like to talk about politics, and I pushed the issue, and unfortunately, I hate the content for this episode, but instead of dwelling on that, I decided to turn it into something positive. This will be the first, what I'm going to call a tip blast. List out a bunch of my favorite tips. That's what I'll be doing now, and tip number one comes from entrepreneur.com. It's one of my favorite sites to keep up with entrepreneur news, and they have a lot of great lists about how to be an entrepreneur. So this particular tip comes from an article about Warren Buffett, renowned capitalist. Everybody knows this guy. He's one of the richest people in the world. Successful, I believe it's a mutual fund. Warren is, so every time I see any article talking about things that Warren Buffett does, particular tip is to read 500 pages every day. I know what you're thinking. I know what I thought when I first read this. I thought 500 pages, Warren, that's not possible. I don't understand how anyone can do that. I'm going to give you, I guess this is kind of two tips for the price of one, because if you go to Tim Ferriss's website, 4hour.com, you're going to find a YouTube video about speed reading. I know a lot of people have used read a lot faster than you normally could, so I'm definitely going to be using that to get these 500 pages in. Tip number two, this one was actually supposed to be Ted's. He was pretty excited about it, but he decided not to be here today, and this is just kind of my way of showing him that the show does go on without him. Ted, I know you're listening. Appreciate it if you came back, and I'm really sorry for bringing up politics, and we don't have to talk again. I'll unfollow the politicians on Twitter that you didn't want to be associated with, so please come back, Ted. Tip number two comes from entrepreneur.com, one of my favorites. The article's titled 8 Items You Need on Your Desk, and I thought this was kind of a fun one, just really practical stuff that maybe you wouldn't think of. So number one is healthy snacks. Cereal, almonds, yogurt, fruit. I'm doing the whole paleo thing, so yogurt is kind of off the table for me, and I guess cereal is too. Definitely nuts and fruit. I am keeping those stocked. And number two is headphones, listening to music, enough said. An office cardigan. I actually had to look this one up. It's basically a sweater with some buttons, just in case you get cold. Stay productive. Don't have to leave the office. You just got one maybe on the back of your chair. Number four, tissues and hand sanitizer. Just like a germ thing. Number five, a bottle of water. Drink. Number six is first aid supplies. It says eye drops, band-aids, nose drops, vitamins, painkillers, etc. Those are just in case something happens. 7 is deodorant. Summer, you start to sweat. Essence of deodorant was good for that. And then a spare phone charger or phone battery in case your phone, you got that important call coming up, your phone's at like 5%. We've all been there. But if you have an extra battery, you can just pop that in. Tip number 3, I might not even have noticed this one. It's kind of been happening the whole episode. I actually sped this episode up 30%. So that's just something that Ted and I recommend that you do whenever you're listening to a podcast. Just speed it up so you can kind of cram as much info in as you possibly can. And you're really not even going to notice a difference. I'm going to wrap this up. Honestly, it just feels a little strange to be doing it without Ted. This has been the first Tip Blast. I'm Greg Puffman. Once again, Ted Zepp not able to make it due to some personal issues. We have an exciting second episode coming up in the pipes very soon. Go quit your job.